Hey, what's up guys? There's me, Chachionics. I am here with another video. I am making this literally the day of the event that's going to happen right now. This video is going to be about UFC 275 that is happening later today. It is currently 11:22 a.m. for me, and I'm making the video right now. I didn't do it last night. I was a little busy, chatting with friends, playing some games and all that stuff, so I never really had the time to do it. And if I wanted to do it last night, it would have been really late, and I didn't want to sleep too late. So I will brush upon how I did last week for UFC Fight Night Volkov versus Rosenstrike. I went 9-5, 9 wins, 5 losses, and I got the main event wrong. With Rosenstrike, he lost by TKO against Volkov. You can say it's controversial. I don't think it's controversial. I think it was a proper stoppage. You can disagree with me or agree with me down in the comments below, but I thought it was a proper stoppage. So that's it. So these fights today will be about UFC 275, which will be held in Kallang, Singapore, in the Singapore Indoor Stadium. It says the date June 12th, but because these fights are in Singapore, it's happening tomorrow, technically. So, yeah, so that's why, I'm seeing that on Wikipedia, but on the UFC website it says Saturday, June 11th, and then it says the time when it begins at least for me. So, there are 11 fights on the card. These fights will be headlined between UFC light heavyweight champion Glover Teixeira and UFC and number 2 light heavyweight contender Yuri Prochazka. That's going to be a firefight. There are 2 title fights today. That includes the co-main between between women's flyweight champion Valentina and number 4 contender Teixeira Santos. I will get more into it. I don't want this video to be too long. I don't know who I want to pick. I'm going into this a little bit cold turkey. So I'm going to give the overview and then I'm going to make my picks. So the early prelims begin at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There are 2 fights. These fights will be on UFC Fight Pass. To kick off the card, it will be in the women's featherweight division at 145 pounds between Ramona Pascual and Jocelyn Edwards. And then the feature for the early prelims will be a women's strawweight bout at 115 pounds between Liang Na and Silvana Gomez Juarez. We then move to the prelims, which begin at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There are a total of 4 fights. There's a bantamweight bout to kick things off at 135 pounds between Kyung Ho Kang and Batgirl Dana. We then have a middleweight bout at 185 pounds between Brendan Allen versus Jacob Malkoon. We then have a lightweight bout at 115 pounds between Mahashate versus Steve Garcia. We then have a feature on the prelims at 145 pounds, Seung Woo Choi versus Josh Kulibao. That will be the prelims, which begin at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. And then the main card, which will be on ESPN Plus, but it's a pay-per-view. To kick things off for the pay-per-view, for the main card, we move to the welterweight division. It will be a bout between Jack Della Maddalena versus Ramazan Amif. We then move to the welterweight division at 170 pounds, Andre Fialho versus Jake Matthews. We then move to a rematch in the women's strawweight division between Zhang Wei Li and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. We then have our co-main event, which is a title fight, a whip at 115 pounds. The women's strawweight bout between Zhang Wei Li and Joanna Jędrzejczyk, 115 pounds. I don't know if I said that. I probably did. A little bit of short term right there. My bad. The women's flyweight title bout between Valentina and Teixeira Santos at 125 pounds. We then move to the light heavyweight title bout between Glover Teixeira and Yuri Prochazka at 205 pounds. So the good news is that everybody made weight, which is fantastic. Everybody made weight. Everything is good to go. There were some fight cancellations. I'm not going to get really into the details of those fight cancellations. All I know is that there are 11 fights. If there were 2 for the early prelims, 4 for the prelims, that makes 6, 5 for the main card. So I'm kind of using SureDog to help me out. I have some picks of who I want and some of who I do not know. So don't know if I'm gonna do well tonight, but I'm just gonna go with the picks here and just go for it. So in the early prelims, we're gonna go to the early prelims. Those are the overview of the fights. I'm just gonna go with the picks here. So I'm gonna select Jocelyn Edwards over Ramona Pascual. I'm gonna select Liang Na over Silvana Gomez Juarez. I'm gonna select Batgerel Dana over Kyung Ho Kang. This is a tough one for me because I want to pick Brendan Allen, but there's a part of me that is like, Jacob Malkoun's got this. So this one may come to bite me. So I'm going to pick Jacob Malkoun over Brendan Allen. I'm then going to pick Maheshate over Steve Garcia. I then got Seung-Woo Choi. Oh, you know what? With the experience, I'm going to pick Seung-Woo Choi over, I don't know about this one actually. This one's, I honestly have no idea for this one. This one is also another, this is another tough one for me. You know what? No, I'm going to pick Seung-Woo Choi over Josh Cooley-Bout. And then the main event kind of is relatively easy for me. I'm going to pick Jack Della Maddalena over Ramazan Emeev, Andre Fialho over Jake Matthews, Zhang Weili over Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Valentina Shevchenko over Tyler Santos, and Yuri Prochazka over Glover Teixeira. That one is another tough one for me. Glover and Yuri. The breakdown that I'm gonna give for this fight, I don't really need to give a breakdown for Valentina and Tyler Santos. I really think that Valentina is just better everywhere, and I think she's just gonna be able to toy with Tyler Santos, at any point in the fight. So I don't see any advantage where Tyler Santos has over Valentina Shevchenko. Valentina Shevchenko is just way too dominant, and I think she will finish Tyler Santos. In the case with Glover and Yuri, this one's a little tougher because Glover's really good on the ground. I think if it goes to the ground, it favors Glover, but if it stays on the feet, it favors Yuri because Yuri's just he's a very creative striker. So I'm gonna pick. That's why I don't know. These fights are gonna be really fun. It's gonna be really awesome. We'll see how I do. I'll probably, I have no idea. I hope to do well in these 11 fights. We'll see. At the end of the day, this is all for fun. This is more of a reminder for myself. And if you guys are confident in who I've picked, when you're going to place bets, make sure you're confident in who I've picked, that you're confident enough that they're going to win. So that's it. This is the video. I hope you guys, if you are watching the UFC fights tonight, enjoy the UFC fights. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.